Hello, good evening. Hello, welcome to another Monday. It's Kath again, and it's Monday the 27th of February. So this is Making It Monday. I'm hoping that I'm in the right place and that you can hear me. So I'm just waiting for people to come through. I've had a very busy day, and so I'm looking forward to an hour of just stitching, and I can see that there's one or two people coming in now, so that's great. So yeah, we're making Rosie tonight, and she's been such a joy to make, really. It's such an easy little project, but it's so cute, and I really like it, so I'm hoping that you'll like it too. So, yes, hi Sandra. Let's see who's coming in now. Sandra's here. There's a few of you watching now, and I can see the names that are watching. Hi Rosemary, hello. I hope you're well and you're recovering, shall we say, improving. So, hi Gemma. So there's quite a lot of people here. Hello Evelyn, nice to see you. And Karen, hi. Hi, it's lovely to see everybody. So yeah, so we're going to make Rosie tonight, as I said. It's been a busy old day for me. I've kind of, I don't know what I've been doing, but it's really busy. So I'm looking forward to an hour of just gentle stitching, and Rosie's a lovely project, and I'm sure you like it, and it's quite fun to make. So yeah, so if you can't hear me, or if the sound is muffled or anything, please do let me know. And if there are any problems at all with pictures and sound, then please do let me know. I'm not quite sure what I can do about them, but I'll try. So, oh, that's lovely, Joyce. Thank you. So she's looking forward to tonight. So that's great. So bear with me a second while I just get everything up on my laptop that's over here, so then I can see your comments a little bit easier when I put the phone down. Hi Denise. So there I am in splendor there. So hi to Jackie. Gemma says the sound is good, thank you, and Diana says the same. Thank you very much, that's great. And so hello to Sandra and Lorna, Wendy, Jackie, Gemma, Diana. So somebody's saying from a chilly Spain, that'll be Mary, I expect. Let me scroll down and say, oh, Mary, is it chilly in Spain? I'm not coming then. I'm not coming till it's warmer. No, there's no point. So yeah, so anyway, we're going to get started. I think there's about 100 of us so far. So yeah, we'll give another couple of minutes while I just show you the pattern. So this is Rosie. If you haven't had a chance to download Rosie, then afterwards you can pop along to the website. So you can see that Rosie is a circular purse. And yeah, this is in shadow now. That's better. You can see us talking to you now. A circular purse, and I've got my keys ready there to pop inside her, and some coins and bits and pieces. We've got a lovely little clasp at the top there, so you can attach it to the inside of your bag or your jeans or your keys. So yes, so it's lovely to see everyone. So I'm going to change the camera angle. We have to be on time tonight because after this, Lizzie will be live in the members group, so Lizzie's fabulous sewing group, to introduce you to next month's patterns. I'm so excited. They're absolutely gorgeous. I've seen them. Well, I wouldn't I? But they're absolutely gorgeous. I'm saying, oh gosh, it sat by the log burner, Mary. Oh my goodness, I just wish I had a log burner. I did have a man come once that said, oh, nothing phases me. I can put a log burner in any house. And then half an hour later or an hour later, he walked out and he says, well, you got me stumped. I can't put one in here. Typical, isn't it? So let me tilt the camera down, and then you can tell me if the angle is good or whatever, and I can show you Rosie in the flesh. So yeah, and then you can tell me all about your day and what kind of day you've had and what you've been doing. So how's that? Are we good for angles there? It might be a little bit tilted, but you know, I'm gonna chance my luck. Something's gone wrong. What's happened now? Has something gone wrong? Can you still see me? Because it's gone off my laptop and I don't understand why. So I'm going to get out of that. Perfect for me, Mary says. So it looks like we're okay on there, but I can't get it on my laptop, so I won't be able to see much of what you're saying to me, I'm afraid. I'm going to refresh it and see if it comes back. So anyway, this is my little Rosie, and so yeah, we're back on my laptop, so that's good. I hope that doesn't happen anymore. I do apologise for that. I don't know quite what went wrong, but anyway, you can still see me, so that's all right. We won't worry about the laptop. So this is my Rosie here, so you can see the little swivel clip that I've got on, so you can attach that to anything. And I did jokingly say, if anybody saw the video this morning, I did jokingly say if you're going for a dog walk, you can put your doggy bags in here, but you can, that's absolutely fine. So I've got some cards, you can see my AA card and some coins and everything in here, and then when we close the zip, it will hang inside or on your belt or whatever. I've done some fussy cutting on the one side where the zip is, and some fussy cutting on the back where the zip is. Now I have done some fussy cutting tonight, but I don't think it's awfully fussily cut, but you will forgive me for that, won't you? I'm running out of fabric of this and I do love it. So so let's get started. We'll start with getting all our bits and pieces together. So you can see that I've got the circles and the half circles as it says in the pattern. They're all good to go. And I've attached H630 on there. Now I've explained in the pattern that H630 is slightly less lofty than H640. So if you're wondering what it is, you've never heard of it, it's the same thing. It's a fusible fleece, but slightly less lofty. Now don't go out and buy some. Use H640. It's not going to matter. And don't go out and buy some of that if you've got wadding. Just make sure it's not too thick, and just watch your machine increase your stitch length when you go through the bulk. It's not too bulky. All we're stitching is about 5 layers. So, you know, just be aware is all I'm saying of your machine. So the first thing we're going to do, and I've just made a start on this by putting some quilter's tape in. I've cut my zip to the size that it says in the pattern. And I've put some quilter's tape, as you can see, on back and front, because we're going to put the zip tabs in. So I'll take the paper off this one side, and we're going to, this is the right side up of the zip. I'm hoping you can see that, because I've gone black again on my machine, so I can't see anything. And I'm hoping you can see that. Hooray, hooray, I can see you, Viv. Lovely, thank you. As long as somebody can see me, and I'm not talking to myself, then I'm happy. So on the top of the zip, so this is the zip slider, so this is facing up towards me. I'm going to put that little tab on there, and then on the back I'll take the quilter's tape off again. I'll turn that round so you can see it. Don't want to take it too far. And then I'm going to put the right side of the fabric down again. So I've put right side of fabric to zip on that side, and it's right side of fabric to zip on that side. Okay, now what I'm going to do, because I'm going to, sorry, I haven't lined that up very well, bear with me. They're obviously too wide, but we're going to trim those in a minute. I'm just going to put a clip on that side, because when I take it to the machine now, I'm going to stitch both sides. So again, I'll take let me do it the same way as I did it before. I'm terrible at taking the paper off quilter's tape. Just won't go for me. Okay, so this is the top side of the zip again, so just pop that in the middle, right on the edge, with those raw edges meeting there. And we're going to turn it over. I try and get this paper off again. It came off easily that time. So don't worry about it being in the middle, but we do like to have it at 90-degree angle to each other. This is sort of perpendicular, if you like. Pop that one on the top. And I'm just going to put a clip on there as well. Just as I move, it doesn't come adrift. It shouldn't do with the quilter's tape on. So I'm going to bring my machine in, and then I'm going to need your feedback as well. So I'm hoping that is a good, that's a good angle. That's fine. Okay, lovely. So it looks like that's okay to me from my little one. Hi, Jerry. Jerry's here from the States, so that's lovely. Nice to see you, Jerry. So pop those over there for now. So all I'm going to do is to get rid of that. I'm going to sew across there with a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. So let's put my zip slider in the middle so it's well out of my way. And we're going to go across there with a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. And I've got my my machine stitch length on 2.4. Don't worry about a back stitch. Go gently over your zip, and then we'll turn it round and we'll do exactly the same to the other side. 1/4 inch. Okay, and then I can push my machine away for a minute while I just show you the next bit. Okay, so here we are with those two stitched. I'm just going to snip off my threads there a second, and then I'm going to fold them back and finger press. You can press with the iron if you like, but it's good enough to finger press. And then just for a second I'm going to put a pin that way at the end, and you'll see why in a second, just to hold those together so they don't move. Now if you want to top stitch along here, then feel free to top stitch along there, but you know, I was looking at it the other day, and by the time you finished you'll see about 1/4 inch of this, so it's not worth it. It's really not worth it in my opinion, but if you want to, then you do whatever you like. I'm going to trim sideways on both ends and on both sides, so hence why I put the zip in that way. So now we've got the tabs that they're the same width as the zip, and they're going to make our zip panel, if you like, just a little bit longer than we need it. So that's the zip prepared, ready to insert. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab my fronts, if you like. So this is going to be the front of the purse, and the zip is going to go down the centre like that, and then these are the lining pieces for the front of the purse. So I'm going to grab my quilter's tape again. It doesn't matter, I think we'll abandon that one because the front has come away from the sticky bit. That's better. So we're going to go all the way across with this, across the zip tape and across the zip tab. So this is the zip tape, these are the zip tabs. Okay, so we're going to go all the way across with that, cut it off there, and then I'm going to do my little struggle at the end here. I do all the things that people advise and I still can't do it very well. And then, so this is the zip facing upwards. So what I didn't suggest, and I do suggest in the pattern, let me just grab this out of my drawer, is that we just put a little notch at the center of the zip. So I'm going to call that, I'm actually going to mark it with a little bit of, so I'm going to call that there, so that I'm going to call that my center. Okay, so I've made a little mark there. I don't think you'll be able to see it. Well, you can see it. That's the center of the zip. So yeah, I'll always forget something to tell you, but it's all in the pattern. That's what the pattern is for. I've folded this in half, made a little mark there so I can see it. So I'm going to put that mark on top of the other one, and I've now got my zip in the center. So pop that down. So it's the right sides of the the outer fabric. I'll get it right in a minute. Is going on to the right side of the zip. Okay. And then I'm going to turn it over. I'll take those pins out now. We don't need them now. I'm going to turn it over and do exactly the same on the back. So right the way across with the quilter's tape. Cut it off. Do a bit of magic. You'll have to send good vibes this way so I don't waste precious seconds getting quilter's tape backing papers off. There we go. And your lining, this happens to be plain, so it doesn't matter which side, but your lining is right side. So if this was patterned, your pattern pretty side, right side down onto the wrong side of the zip. And rather than find the center of that one again, all I've done is marry it up with the sides. This is going to be trimmed anyway around here. You want to get it as close as you can, but it will be trimmed, and we'll look at that a little bit later on. So now I want to stitch the zip in place, so I'm going to stitch along this side. So that's my outer fabric upwards, because that's the right side of my zip. Can you see that? Right side of my zip, outer fabric upwards, because then my teeth of the zip are pointing upwards and it's easier to sew. So let me put those back there for a second, those to one side, and we'll grab the machine. Okay, let's hope you can see that. I know it's kind of face on, but I think you can see that better than having it sort of sideways. So I'm going to go from this, from this side, and I'm going to go right from the very end. So include that zip tab, and I'm going to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now if you haven't got a tiny little foot like I've got here, this is absolutely tiny, it's 1/8 inch each side of the needle, then you can use your zipper foot. But try and just keep it, you don't want to go too close to those zip teeth, you want it open. If you have a look at this one here, the zip teeth are quite away from the fabric. Let me bring it in the light so you can see that the zip teeth are about 1/4 inch from the fabric. Okay, so normal stitch length again. This time I am going to do a little back stitch, but it's not particularly necessary. And I've just come to my zip slider, so I'm going to leave my needle down, swivel, push my zip slider out of the way, swivel back, needle down, and continue. Okay, so there we have our sandwich. So we have our zip right sides up to the right side of the fabric and our lining, so it'll fold back nicely like that. So when you do this, grab your iron, push those fabrics well away from the zip, line them up, and pop a couple of pins in so that you can see that those are going to stay nice and secure while you do the other side of the zip. Okay, I'm hoping you can see this. I don't think the light is very good today, but if you can see it, there's some shadow on that side that is being made by the machine, and I can't do without it. So there we go. All right, so exactly the same for the second side of the zip. Let's get a wriggle on. There's not a great deal to be done after the zip. Don't tell anybody, but there's not. So zip tape on the front, so that's the zip side facing upwards. And I can line this up now with this on the fabric, so don't have to worry about the middle of the zip again. So just line that up. Okay, so that's that one. Let me just poke my zip slider inside. I'm going to move it to the center a little bit. So right neat to the edge. That needs coming up a little bit, so you can see that edge even better than I can, I think, probably. And I'm going to turn it over, more quilter's tape down that side. This is now the wrong side of the zip, so this is our lining side. So what's everybody been up to today? Sorry, Wendy, you're late again. Well, you've missed the best part. No, you haven't. You haven't missed the best part at all. We're just putting a zip in, Wendy, so you're all right. So again, if you had patterned fabric, you'd put it down to the zip, but we've got plain fabric, so we're just lining that up with the edge of the other fabrics and putting that in. Give it a good press with your fingers, turn it over, and we're going to sew down there the same as we did with the other side. 1/4 inch seam allowance. Use your zipper foot and go right from the very edge. Let me just see where my my zip slider's right at that end, so let's bring it back a little bit. So just move that out of the way and carry on stitching. So I've just spent a weekend doing a reupholstery course. Well, I don't think I've ever done anything so hard, and I don't mean difficult, it was difficult enough, but hard in the whole of my life. It's hard work. I was aching like I've never ached before. I was in bed by 7:30 on Saturday night. I couldn't stay awake. I was so tired. And then we had to go and do the whole thing all over again. But anyway, I managed to cover one of my dining room chairs, so I'm very pleased with myself. And yeah, so that fussy cutting isn't great, look. I just as well point that out to you because, you know, let's be honest, I was trying to have the same fabric as I'd made the other one in, and there wasn't quite enough. But never mind. Yours will be beautiful. Yeah, so I've had a busy weekend and a busy day, so it's lovely to do some stitching now. So there we have our zip in, so you can see that that's nice and secure. And what we're going to do is we're going to top stitch down both sides, okay? So again, pull the machine in. Lovely. And this foot allows me to just go about 1/8 of an inch from the fold of the fabric. Just pull these fabrics away from the zip as you go, not heavily, but just tease them away. I'm going to turn my stitch length up to just over 3, and I'm going to go as near as I can. There's nothing in the rules that says you have to go 1/8 of an inch, but I just quite like it. If you manage to do this with your zipper foot as well, you won't have any problems with your zip slider. So that's the one side done, and I'll show them to you closer in a second. Zip slider getting caught on the plate at the bottom. There we go. So you can see the top stitching now, both sides. I'm doing it in pink. I'm going wacky, I tell you. Okay, I'm going to just neaten off those edges, take away that little bit of extra. Look, there's not a great deal to play with, so it's not a great deal to come off of those zip tabs, but doesn't it make that zip look nice and neat? I can take my pins out now because those fabrics are not going anywhere. Okay, so our next step, I'm going to put that to one side. Our next step is to get our tab sorted out. So, as usual, with a tab or a strap, but for anybody who doesn't know, I've folded this in half to start with, so it's not going to want to go now. But anyway, you can see, yeah, it won't go. Ah, there we go. So, made a crease down the centre, and then opened it out and folded the 2 long edges to the middle. Don't have to worry about the raw edges on this particular one, because they're going to get embedded in the seam allowance. Okay, so now I'm going to top stitch down that side and down that side, and then we'll sort out the swivel clip. So again, I'm going to leave my stitch length on 3 and use the edge of my foot. So I'm lucky to have this gorgeous little, I call it my baby foot. It is the zipper foot for this machine, but I use it all the time. Okay, so there's that one. Whoops. The light isn't great, is it? There we go. So you can see I've top stitched that one. Just neaten off the edges with the threads. Sorry, I was doing that off camera then, I think. And then what we're going to do is we're going to thread the swivel clip. Couldn't think of the word. There's always a good side and a better side to tabs when I do this. So I choose the good side to go inwards and have the better side outwards. And all I'm going to do is just to baste along the edges there, just to keep them together. Now, I don't know whether you have trouble like I do. They always move when I try to baste these 2 little bits together. So what I do is start in the middle. I'm going to put it down to, yeah, it's still on 3. Start in the middle and come towards me, and then go backwards, and then come towards me again, so that they don't actually move. So you can see those are side by side. So they haven't moved. If I put it on that white bit, you can see it there. So that's a good tip. Start from the middle and work outwards when you're doing those, and then they won't move. And then what we want to do is to pop this tab onto our front panel here. So let's think about this, because another secret, if you see that, I've got my zip slider at the bottom when it's closed, and I'm in danger of my coins falling out. I don't mind because they'll only fall into my bag, but if you're using this on your belt, you need to make sure that when your zip is closed, the tab goes on the same side as your slider. You see there with mine now, I did this deliberately to show you, okay? So you can see that on this one, it's closed and the zip slider is right at the bottom, if you consider this the top, and the tab is at the top. So on this one, the zip is closed and the tab will be out like that. So then the zip is closed, nothing can fall out if you don't do it up properly. So if you leave it open a little bit, you'll be safe. So we're going to put the tab facing inwards, and it'll just fit in between those two bits if you've done that 1/4 inch seam allowance like I said. And we're going to put a pin in there. And we can base that in place again if you like. So let's just go 1/8 inch. That's all we need to do, and that will just stay where we want it. And then we're going to get our other panel, or our other, at the back of our purse, and what I want is a little bit of spray, which is down here, and I'm going to attach, I'm going to adhere the lining to this H630. So if you've got normal wadding, you'll be doing the same thing, so it's all the same. I'm going to go to the side here a second. All I'm doing is spraying glue. So I sprayed a little glue on there, and I'm just going to pop that on the top. Now, that fussy cutting wasn't too bad, was it? But you know, it could have been better. Get a 9 out of 10 for that one, or maybe even 8.5. And then all we need to do is to place these together. So don't worry if they're not quite the same size, because they may not be, because we've put a zip in this one. So all we're going to do is to put lining sides together, and we're going to centre those up. This one's not too bad. Centre it up and we can put a clip on it. Okay, now I hope nobody's shouting at the camera to say that I've got this inside out, and all of this, but I am going to open the zip because I'll forget about it later. Because what we're going to do is French seams, a French seam all the way around. All right, I don't need any more clips in it, but you can clip up in it whatever you want to do. So I'm going to get my stiletto for this so that things don't move. If you want to use a walking foot, then you use a walking foot, because it's quite a good idea. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 layers of fabric and 2 layers of the wadding, but the wadding really squashes down, which is why I like this H630 or H640, because it really squashes down. All right, so using the top layer here as your template, can you see that? Using your top layer as your, not the back but the front, as your template, we're going to sew all the way around at an 1/8 inch seam allowance. Does tell you in the pattern, and we're going to leave that stitch length on 3 so that it will cope with the layers. Okay, so take your time. I'm going to use my stiletto because I quite like that to help me guide round that circle. These bends or arcs, or it's not sharp, so you'll do this easily. Just take your time. If you need to reset, just up, reset and back down. But I don't think you will, because it's really very mild curve, nice and smooth. But I don't want to go fast. So is everybody okay? They're saying hello to each other, that's nice. Okay, so we're nearly there. We've gone over the tab. What I am going to do is to go back to that tab and just go over it again. Only because I think if you get some heavy coins in there, then you might want to have a little bit of reinforcement. It's only because I'm paranoid about things coming apart. So all I'm going to do is just, that's it. Okay, so we'll come back to the machine in a second. You can see this anyway. So you will find that around these edges they might not be the same on top and bottom, we'll call it, top and bottom. So what I'm going to do is to just use an ordinary scissors and just trim so that we are definitely 1/8 of an inch away. There's not much coming off that one from that stitch line, okay? So just trim. Do you know we're nearly done and it's only 7:30? You'll have to start telling me some funny stories. There we go. Okay, so we've got our tab in place with our swivel clip. We've got our zip open. You can see the lining inside. We've sorted it all out and I've trimmed all the way around to 1/8 of an inch beyond the stitches. Now is the time for me to turn inside out. Do you remember with French seams, you start by stitching them wrong sides together, stitch down, trim off your ends, and then you turn right sides together and then stitch again. Well, this is exactly the same, and it saves us having to bind the seams inside or do the lining separately and have it floating about. So we're now going to do our French seam. Look, now I haven't caught that in, so let's turn it back out. That's the time to find it, not afterwards when you've finished. I'm just going to go slightly more in. So bear with me a second, we'll just go slightly more in. There we go. So we've made sure that that's nicely inside. Just trim the pink bit off. There we go. So you can see that it's a good idea to really double check everything, and as you turn it through it will become obvious like you just saw. There's another little bit there as well. So lovely. Okay, so I think we've got everything. Make sure you take your threads off because they will come through the seams and they will look messy. I mean, it'll be inside the purse so nobody will see, but you'll know they're there. So turn it. I still haven't caught that. Right, let's unpick and see what we've done. It's because I haven't caught the lining. Bear with me a second. And all we'll do is catch that lining in now. Trying not to go too far in. But if we don't, I'm not going to worry about it because it's inside the purse and nobody is going to see it. Okay, I think I've caught it now. And if I haven't, I'm not going back to catch it, but you will. No, I haven't caught it, but really I don't mind. That's one thing for you to watch, is to make sure that you catch all your layers. Make sure your zip is open, and we're now going to go round at 1/4 inch seam allowance. So let me just make those seams a little bit more round. You really do have to delve inside the purse to find the part that's the seams inside, so don't worry about this. Okay. So we're going around again at 1/4 inch seam allowance. Your seams, I'm sure, will be absolutely beautiful. There we go. Doesn't take long to just guide it around those curves there. And then we're going to pretend those are lovely, lovely French seams, because in parts they are. Look at that. Look at that lovely French seam there. Okay. And all we do now is turn it through. So you need to just double check that you've got everything secured properly, and we're just going to turn this through. And you can't even get in the purse unless you turn it inside out to see those seams. So we're doing all right. We're not going to worry. I'm happy with it. So give it a nice push out with your pokey tool or whatever you use. What does everybody use? Do you have a pokey tool? You broke a needle in your Bernina this afternoon doing free motion, and it's jammed. Oh no, oh dear, I can't see the rest of it. We'll have to have the next instalment. So I suppose it's taking it for an engineer to look at now, isn't it? I did that once in my old Juki, goodness me. Turns out it wasn't me though, it was the machine, and it was sorted. So what we need to do with this is to give it a lovely press, and you're going to use steam on it, or I advise you to use steam on it, because these are quite thick. Now you will find, you see, that the top, where the zip is, the top and bottom, they go a little bit straighter, but we've got lovely curves around the sides. So I think the top and bottom make it look a little bit kind of cute, to be honest. A bit like the shape of a bauble. So give it a good press. Now, if you don't look at it too closely, that fussy cutting didn't turn out too badly, did it? It's a lovely little purse. Thank you, Jerry. Didn't turn out too badly, that fussy cutting. And, you know, you don't have to do that. You could do anything. You can put applique on it if you want to. You can do this with crumb quilting. Wouldn't that be lovely, with crumb quilting? And then if you want to, you can put a little tassel on the end of the zip. So there we are. Now that didn't take too long. We've got 20 minutes. What we're going to do? Are we going to have coffee and biscuits, or are we going to have gin and tonic? What everybody like? Thank you, Colette. It looks beautiful. Thank you. I mean, inside you can't tell that I've not quite caught my seams, so we don't mind. And especially once you get your AA cards in there, goodness me, and your coins. There we go. The same coins as I had in Farah last week. So if you made this both in the same fabric, it'd be a lovely little set, wouldn't it? So you see what you mean about that zip? When the coins are in there, even if your zip's open a bit, they won't come out. So you can see that, yeah? So let me tilt the camera up and then you can tell me all about your day and what you've been doing, and I can see who's talking to me. Lovely. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. What a lovely purse we'll be making. So they're lovely for gifts, aren't they? Here it is. So I've lost a bit of my flower. Looks a bit like a butterfly now. Doesn't matter. And there's my flower on the back. So this is such a lovely fabric because it's got circles on it that are orange and pink and red, and then blue squares and darker blue squares and red squares and orange squares. Really special fabrics. Anna Maria Horner. So have a look at it if you like it, because it's really quite lovely and you can put almost any colour with it. So there we go. So that's Rosie. Rosie is available on the website, and she'll be there forever. So you can £1.25. Download Rosie and make loads, because there'll be lovely little gifts. Don't forget, traditional, if you give somebody a purse, to leave a coin in it. Used to be a penny, didn't it? I think it's gone up a little bit since then. So Sarah says she's putting up curtain rods. Oh, Sarah, I'd rather you than me. So Dee Dee says she'll be making lots for gifts. It's a gift kind of thing, isn't it? I'm going to put one in my handbag, and then I'll put this one in my handbag, and then I might give this one to my daughter-in-law. She's downstairs. She's staying with us for a couple of days while she's working in Bristol, so it's really nice. So yeah, so we'll finish early because Lizzie will be over on the members page, the members group, I have to think about this, Lizzie's Fabulous Sewing Group, at about 8 o'clock. So it gives me a chance to go and grab a cup of tea and come back up and have a look at the patterns. So you still have time to become a member of the group. If you're subscribing, you can still join as a member of the group and have a look at the lovely patterns that we've got for March. And then the February patterns will be going into the shop tomorrow evening maybe, and yeah, so if you haven't had those, anybody that hasn't downloaded, get on and download and save your patterns to your device, whatever you use, and they'll always be there for you. So Mary says, thank you, Kath, see you at 8. So that's my cue to go. Thank you so much. See you at 8 o'clock with Lizzie, and then on Thursday Liz will be doing her usual Thursday evening chat, and then she'll be doing the Making It Monday on Monday, which is the first Monday in March. I don't know where it's gone, so don't ask. You take care, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you for calling. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye bye.